Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 15 of Knick of Time. Now, this Eastern Conference Finals, Knicks are back in the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 for 2, 2 seasons in a row. Last season was against Indiana, and we all know how that went. This was kind of the Eastern Conference we all believed before the season, especially with Boston coming in with injuries, not knowing, and they exceeded expectations in my opinion, even though they had a failure of a season, not like discrediting that failure. Like, yes, it sucks. You lost 3-1. That's a fail. But they came in the season with no expectations. I mean, maybe some because still they're the Boston Celtics, but maybe expectations to maybe sneak in the playoffs. But they got a second seed. So through the whole entire season, like the start of the season, the offseason, ramping it up to the regular season, everybody thought Knicks versus Cavs. I think it was up there. Knicks, Cavs, maybe Pistons in there. Who really knew how the Pistons were going to play? So it was really Knicks, Cavs. Actually, definitely not Pistons because I remember not being like one seed high on the Pistons until like they got to one seed. Winner gets a chance to represent the East in the NBA Finals. Feels like the best team in the East matchup. Feels like it really is. These are two very, very good teams. New York Knicks, playoff run. One of the most dominant teams in the playoffs so far. 7 of 8 wins by double digits. Multiple 25-point blowouts. Controlled almost every game against the Hawks and Sixers. They were part of the games that they didn't lose in the playoffs were by 1. So the only games the Knicks have lost in the playoffs were by 1 point. Literally by 1 point. Playing their most complete basketball game. Playing the most complete basketball this season. Karl-Anthony Towns being the hub. Jalen Brunson playing a little bit more off ball, not crazily, but like more like you can see it. Like Knicks offense rolling, everybody's hitting shots, but also it's just the process is better for the Knicks. Actually, like using Karl-Anthony Towns as like a talented player. Like I feel like Karl-Anthony Towns is like a role player sometimes in the regular season where he needs to be used as he's Karl-Anthony Towns. Why they've looked so good. Elite wing defense. Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby has been fantastic in their wins, and OG Anunoby has been fantastic in their losses as well. He welcomed back OG Anunoby. Great to have him back from the hamstring injury. A little bit of scare because of how the hamstring worked a few years ago when he tried to come back Game 7, couldn't. Brunson controlling pace. He does. He still controls the pace, not to like a super level. They can play off of Towns on the post, but at the end of the day, Brunson controls the pace for the New York Knicks. Hot shooting from Bridges, OG, and Towns. So far, Bridges has been fantastic. Mikal Bridges needs to keep that up, man. OG Anunoby needs to come back and do the same thing. He's been not perfectly, not 8 for 8 from 3, but needs to give at least 15, especially if he's playing a good defense or good to great, of course, great defense. Give me 15 to 17 points a night for OG Anunoby. Give me elite wing defense. Give me some good bailout, off the dribble moves, 1 or 2. I like that. Concern for New York. There's a concern for New York going in this Eastern Conference Finals. Some defensive numbers have been inflated by opponents just missing wide open threes. I do think that honestly the Hawks didn't shoot well, and I think the Knicks had a good reason for them not shoot. I think both the Hawks and the Sixers, they didn't shoot well for a reason. Obviously, the Knicks defense was great, but sometimes you're looking at it like a Tyrese Maxey wide open 3 clank. You know that stuff would go in usually. It's just Maxey wasn't feeling it. And B got a wide open 3, just doesn't have the legs anymore to hit it. So, yes, those shots could go in and it could be bad for the Knicks. But, I mean, they won by so much that it's like how many threes can they hit to make that, like, make that kind of come together from like a blowout to just hitting a few threes. I mean, that's my argument the other way on that point. Possible shooting regression. Yes, I think that's a possibility. Knicks have been hitting like amazing shot. Like OG Anunoby was 8 for 8 at some point. It was ridiculous. I don't think OG Anunoby will shoot 8 for 8. Mikal Bridges was playing. He couldn't play. He couldn't do anything wrong when Knicks were winning. So I think that stuff will regress to the mean. I think Mikal Bridges can still be very good. He's really opened himself up. as an offensive player, but I think stuff will regress. I think Carly Towns feel like he hit every single shot from three. I don't think he will. I think he'll come down to the level of he'll maybe hit 4 out of 10 instead of like 6 out of 10. Something like that will happen. I have a feeling. But the Knicks offense, their whole process, I think, is going to stay as it is, which is unguardable. The way the Knicks process with Mike Brown is pretty unguardable. Cleveland Cavaliers playoff run opposite than New York. They needed 7 games to beat Toronto, needed 7 games to beat Detroit. Much more physical and stressful path. You could say they're battle tested, which I mean, yes, obviously Pistons were the 1 seed. Great job by them beating them. Comfortable and close games. Survived with Harden and with Donovan Mitchell. A lot of experience with that backcourt. Survived adversity multiple times. They're very fit. They're battle tested, and the Knicks probably aren't. But is it their fault? No, they dominated. Concerns, fatigue, inconsistency, slow starts have been a problem for Cleveland. Inconsistency, like you see that night they play against Detroit. I haven't seen that repeatedly. Like, especially from a play like Donovan Mitchell, he looked unguardable. And some nights he doesn't look like that, and it looks the complete opposite. So if you're Cleveland, you're going to have to be more consistent, especially against a team like New York that's going to consistently put pressure on you offensively and defensively, and will take advantage of you if you're not offensively crisp every single time. And I think they had that level that they can get to, especially with Harden and Mitchell, but they haven't shown that they can be consistently They can be consistent offensively and defensively. Jalen Brunson versus Donovan Mitchell is your matchup for the series. Probably determines a series. 2 elite playoff scorers, both dominant late game possessions. Brunson more methodical and physical. Mitchell, I mean, the times where he's explosive and athletic, I think it came in Game 7, man. That guy was just exploding down to the rim, and no one could stop him on Detroit. It was impressive. It was some impressive basketball. Mitchell can keep that up. Cash a shot in this series. But he's been, here and there. I mean, we want to look at his stats. I mean, I think Jalen Brunson's just the better player straight up. I just think that Jalen Brunson will hurt you in more ways than Mitchell will. 26 points last night, 18 points against Detroit. Like, 21, okay. 43, that's ridiculous. 35, 31. Actually, he's been pretty good, but 23. So, 22. He's had games where he's not been it. And same with Brunson. Brunson hasn't had greatest games either. The team has dominated as a whole, but I don't know. It's going to be who's the better player, and I think Jalen Brunson has always been the better player, so I'll bank on that. Interesting difference. Brunson controls the tempo. Mitchell changes game with scoring bursts. So have his scoring bursts. We saw that against Detroit in Game 7. He has some big-time bursts that he puts in. Knicks offense, Brunson, nearly impossible to fully stop. Elite footwork, strong isolation player, laden clock, consistently draws, help defenders. Well, puts a lot of stress on that defense, especially with the way the Knicks process has been working. You can't really get away with bringing help defense to Jalen Brunson. Cavs challenge, make him work defensively. I think that's been the challenge for every team. You got to make him work defensively. Force him into switches repeatedly. Put him into actions if you're Cleveland. Try to get Mitchell on Brunson. Yes, Brunson may hold his own one possession, but it's the amount of work you're putting on him is going to come out and be good for you when Brunson's trying to dribble around 3 defenders on offense. Even though I think you can kind of be like, oh, well, Knicks' process lately have kind of taken that away. Knicks' process have been less on Brunson trying to dribble around 2 defenders and more on him off ball, which has, let him maybe put a little more effort on defense and then just play in the system of the Knicks and get his shots up where he doesn't have to run around 3 defenders. You can say that too. Knicks process will work really well, which is a lot of less of Brunson isolation where he can work defensively, where you don't have to feel like, okay, we have Jalen Brunson, they're going to work him defensively, then Sam nothing offensively. What do you really need him that much? Maybe not. Carly Towns can have the ball on the top of the key, have a lot of players screening for each other. OG, I know we can dive down. Brunson can can come up if necessary at like the 12-second mark. You have that stuff where he can kind of work defensively and still have some room offensively. That's what the Knicks offense process have kind of been great when that level of two. Yeah, let's give Brunson some opportunity to really give some effort defensively. So offensively, uh, let's let Brunson put in some effort defensively. So because our offense is more team centric, like sometimes, especially like I think there's like 25% of the time Knicks are offense are running through everybody. So if that can be happen, 25% of the time Brunson can give 100% defense, 100% effort. So that can really kind of negate that putting Brunson in every action. Yes, he could just be a bad defender, and that will take Cavs advantage too. I think that's an also thing like Jack. Brunson's just a shitty defender. Yeah, I mean, yes, obviously, but I think if Brunson puts in enough effort, he can put enough stops up for the Knicks to just do a good enough job. Karl-Anthony Towns' impact, one of the NBA's rare stretch fives. He's hit every single three he's taken from the top of the key. It's ridiculous. You can't fall off of him for a second. You can't lag off him for a second. He'll hit that three. Pulls opposing centers from away from the basket. Creates huge spacing for New York, especially with how they've been running their offense through Towns. It's a lot of space for cuts for OG Anunoby. He's a freak athlete. I don't really think he's a freak athlete like Mitchell or not that type of freak. But if he dives, there's nothing you can do. Like if he cuts, he's too strong and too athletic for you to really touch him if he gets down the lane. If he cuts really hard. Why he's dangerous. Can score from three, punishes smaller defenders. Great passing when doubled. He's been very good at that. Cavs strategy, attack him in space, put him in pick and roll, try to force him into foul trouble. Harden will do that a lot. Get Cat on him, try to get him into his dumb like step back threes or dumb like hooks, whatever Harden does. Like he gets fouled nowadays because the refs still love him. Cavs offensive advantages, pick and roll attack between Harden and Mitchell. Best offense creators Knicks have faced. Much easier matchup offensively than Detroit and Toronto. Why? With Brunson's a point of attack. Brunson's a weak point of attack defender. Towns struggles defending movement. Knicks vulnerable at rim despite strong defensive rating. Knicks have allowed lots of open threes, high rim percentage. Opponents simply haven't made enough shots yet. But yeah, I mean, even though Jack Toronto, I haven't heard them being a great defense team. I know they're good, but Jack, aren't the Knicks better since all the ratings? I mean, obviously, like you might be right where the New York could be a better defensive team than Toronto, but when you have Mitchell and Harden, I may have said Garland. I'm sorry because I'm just mixing that up, but you may have had Mitchell and Harden, and that's different than having let's say Kevin Durant on your team. Like that's different. There's a different level. These are guards that will take advantage of the Knicks because the pick and roll will be between Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. If that's the pick and roll, if that's the people you're bringing up in offense, then you have a pretty good option. I think it's about the personnel of the Knicks more than just a team defense. Like yes, they're probably a better team defensive team than Toronto, but as like you put Brunson and Towns on the floor, you have shots to go at them. Which is different than Toronto and Detroit, where maybe you only had Duncan Robinson to go at. I think it's just a difference between let's just go at this guy, especially because they're stars/superstars. They'll just go at the worst offender, and then they have Brunson and Towns they can go at. So that's kind of the different discrepancy between Toronto and New York, which could be like, okay, New York has a better defensive rating, but Toronto probably the better defensive team when you put in the fact that you have Harden and Mitchell. It's probably easier for them because they do a lot of their stuff when they're bringing up bad defenders. And Knicks have two of them, in Towns and Brunson. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. Lob threat becomes important in the series. Harden has really opened their game up between Allen and Mobley. Need a guard like that in a long time. Garland did a good job in his years with the Cavs, but Harden has been a different type of player. Different type of experience level player, open the game up for Harden, for Allen and Mobley. It's been good. Mobley's been more aggressive this postseason. I can't hate. I've been a kind of a Mobley hater, I would say. Not a hater. I obviously like him. But he can attack mismatches, and Knicks may struggle with his versatility. He's hit some threes. He does a good job. Knicks wings, Mikal Bridges, massive turnaround after a slow playoff start. Secondary score Knicks desperately need, likely guarding Mitchell, which is huge. He has the Mitchell assignment. That's going to be big time. Can he continue elite shooting while carrying a huge defensive load? That's a big question we need to be asking because, yes, Mikal last series, he did guard Tyrese Maxey, but Tyrese Maxey's different than Mitchell. Tyrese Maxey just had a bad series. And yes, it could be, okay, Mikal just had a great defensive series, but I think it's a little, I would go 60-40. Maxey just had a bad series. He had a way passive series. He didn't play the way Tyrese Maxey should play. Not saying that Mikal didn't have good defense. He did, but it's more Mitchell will make you pay. Health matters a lot for OG Anunoby. Will he keep healthy? Gives Knicks a defensive versatility, important spacing piece offensively, can cut back door. I said this a lot about him. Rebounding battle, huge. Knicks are one of the best offensive rebounding teams. Mitchell Robinson, Towns, Josh Hart, extra possessions, momentum swings helps Knicks survive cold shooting stretches. Especially that I think I'm predicting Knicks will have some, especially in game one, where they're on a bunch of rest and they just come out after some amazing games they put together. I think they might come out and be a little cold, which offensive rebounds do help that. Just giving professional athletes second chances at shots is just bad. I know it's been my analogy for a long time, but just giving professional NBA players second shots is not good for the defensive team. It just straight up isn't good. These are professional athletes. They're not going to miss 2 times in a row. Maybe they might, but the Knicks' offensive rebounds have been very good. Historical note, Cavs struggled rebounding against the Knicks in past playoff matchup. Just straight up struggled. Evan Mobley looked terrible. Joe Allen looked terrible on the boards. It was bad for them, at least. It wasn't bad for us. But yeah, I think that's about it. Now, X factors. Getting to X factors. Bridges for the Knicks. If he scores efficiently, Knicks will become incredibly balanced offensively. Harden completely changes their offensive ceiling, his pick and roll playmaking. If Harden plays terrible, Knicks will win because his pick and roll game is so effective that if he can't get off, that's going to be good for New York. Really good. Obviously it is, but prediction segment. Knicks argument. More complete and consistent. Better wing depth. Better defensive overall. Brunson proven closer. Versus Cavs argument. Better offensive matchup. Knicks defensive weaknesses exploitable. Mitchell, Harden, Cabo, hard to contain. More ways to generate offense. Now, my argument here is Knicks in 6, and I would say more 7 and 5, in my opinion. I think the Cavs are going to take a few games from the Knicks. They're going to just Harden and Mitchell are going to be a lot for New York. That's my opinion, and they just or a different offensive team than the Knicks have played, which is it's not like the Knicks are going to lose because of that, but it's just different than what they have seen. I think it will be I think the Knicks will take 2 in the Garden to start, but I think it might get tricky once you go on the road. I think they will take 1 on the road. I think it'll be 3-1, and I think they'll come back to the Garden. Would they come back to the Garden? Yeah, 3-1 back at the Garden. I think they fail to close out there, and I think they go back into Cleveland and they take Game 6 on the road. Knicks win 4-2. That's my opinion, my thoughts. Hope to see your thoughts in the comments. Peace. Have a nice day and enjoy the hot weather. Let's go Knicks.